Welcome to Alex Brown Racing's At the Races, a YouTube show that highlights horse racing around North America and a little bit sometimes around the world for horse racing fans and fans of horses everywhere. My name is Alex Brown, and it is July 25th. This is the third such show. Today's show, we're going to cover a bunch of racing that occurred over the last weekend. Look forward to a little bit of racing this upcoming weekend, pretty much some of the usual stuff. We'll start off with the Delaware Handicap, held at Delaware Park last weekend. What a terrific performance put up by the great Royal Delta. I say the great Royal Delta, I really do think this last weekend she stamped herself as a very good horse. She overcame some tactical riding by the Fletcher pair to win her race. She gave a lot of weight away and just really established herself with the second win in succession as a real star of the fillies and mares division. What a great performance, and great to see it local to us anyway, Delaware Park. But Royal Delta really did prove that she is the real deal in that win. She gave weight to Tismiz Sue. Awesome Rear probably didn't run a race, although the race was set up for her by her front running stable companion, whose jockey seemed to do what he could, perhaps to try to get Royal Delta beat, but it didn't occur. Royal Delta won. That was absolutely fantastic. Up at Saratoga, Questing won the CCA Oaks that's usually run at Belmont Park, now at Saratoga, Grade 1 race. That sets her up basically as a preview for the Alabama, which she'll meet some, the winner of the Kentucky Oaks, the winner of the Delaware Oaks, Grace Hall. So the Alabama will be the focus race for that 3-year-old fillies division. Will be kind of an interesting race towards the end of the meet, but Questing won the CCA Oaks quite comfortably, although she did drift out a little bit down the lane, so that'll be interesting to see how people interpret that. But honestly, my perspective, I think Grace Hall still looks like she might be a little bit of a better competitor, and obviously the Kentucky Oaks winner is going to come in fresh for the Alabama. So that'll be something to look forward to towards the end of the Saratoga meet. Over on the West Coast, Acclamation kept doing what he has been doing for a good period of time now, and that's winning another race, another graded stakes on the turf. Some will dismiss it, another short field, much like actually Questing's win and Royal Delta's win, another short field for Acclamation's win. But nevertheless, he keeps winning and performing great. And will he run on the Polytrack in the Pacific Classic? Who knows? Will he stick to the turf? And then obviously, what will he do if he goes to the Breeders' Cup? But he's running a long winning streak and is sort of steadily climbing up the lists of sort of top 10 runners in North America. But that's Acclamation. And then another win for probably a 3-year-old that not many people know about, but should, because his name is Silver Max, and all he does is keep winning. And he won the Virginia Derby and won it quite well, although Lucky Chappie was running on quite well at the end to claim second spot. But Silver Max, Dale Roman's horse, is definitely the leader in the 3-year-old division on the turf, and one has to consider him one of the more consistent 3-year-old runners, especially since those guys aren't sticking around like we would like them to. And on that note, it has to be noted that Union Rags has now been retired. Nothing good to say about that decision, so nothing much else to say about it. But Union Rags is now retired. So we won't see him again, unfortunately. But Silver Max, it looks like he will be pointed to the Secretariat Stakes in Chicago, which is typical sort of path for a top quality 3-year-old turf runner. So congratulations to him. On the undercard at Colonial Downs that night, it was great to see Lentinel, Barbro's brother, actually notch his first stakes win, so congratulations to that team. He sort of grounded out to just get up on the wire, but I know we've been waiting a long time for one of the Barbro brothers to win the stakes race, so how fantastic is that? Lentinel did get the job done. So quite a lot of interesting racing over the weekend in North America. Certainly I think the performance of the weekend was Royal Delta, despite circumstances, getting the job done at Delaware Park and Delaware Handicap. But the other performance also should be noted is more from a jockey standpoint, people standpoint than a horse standpoint, but the very classy Ramon Dominguez getting his sixth timer at Saratoga on Sunday. I saw him at Saturday at Delaware Park, probably not his favourite day, getting beat on Awesome Rear, but then bounced back brilliantly on Sunday and won 6 races, which tied a record at Saratoga for number of wins. So congratulations to Ramon Dominguez. On the sort of other side of the pond, as it were, in Europe, they had a humongous horse race that perhaps I should have previewed a little bit last week, but honestly completely forgot about. But the King George, the 6th Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, middle distance race, attracted a brilliant field. And I think the fact that Frankel wasn't there probably makes you think, well, maybe this wasn't such a good race in Europe, because if Frankel's not there, it can't be that good a race. But let me tell you, this was a huge race. It attracted a Melbourne Cup winner. It attracted an Arc de Triomphe winner. It attracted last year's King George winner, and it also attracted last year's Breeders' Cup Turf winner and a Japanese Derby winner. And I'm sure if I knew a little bit more about some of the other runners, I could list some other races too. But what a fantastic race. Daydream, a mare who won the Arc last year, just got up to defeat Nathaniel, who won the King George last year, in a very close photo finish. St Nicholas Abbey, who won the Breeders' Cup Turf race last year, just got up to 3rd. Honestly, I think St Nicholas Abbey looked a little uncomfortable tracking the field in last place for a good period of that race. So I don't know if that was his best performance, but what a terrific horse race. If you get a chance, look at that on YouTube. Just watching any race at Royal Ascot is brilliant, but when you get that kind of field assembled, it is a dream for us horse racing fans to watch. Coming up this weekend, it's sort of the second part of the 3-year-old season just getting underway. We have the Haskell Stakes, a Grade 1 stake at Monmouth Park, and we have the Jim Dandy Stakes, a Grade 2 stake at Saratoga. Both sort of springboard races, not prep races, springboard races for the Grade 1 Travers Stakes towards the end of the Saratoga meet. So the second half of the 3-year-old sort of season gets underway, and obviously we're now missing the top 3-year-old runners from the first part, because the Derby and Preakness winner, I'll Have Another, is retired. The Belmont winner, Union Rags, is retired. So let's see how the second season shapes up. In the Jim Dandy, the Grade 2 at Saratoga, you've got Teeth of the Dog, Alpha, and a few other runners, but I think those two may be the more notable runners. Teeth of the Dog coming off 2 impressive graded stakes scores after his Preakness effort. Alpha, who was one of the more popular horses earlier in the spring season, faces horses like Atigun, Prospective, and a few others in the Jim Dandy. So that will be very exciting. The Haskell, the Grade 1, probably attracts a little bit more of a quality field. As it's a Grade 1, it should. Gemologist, who came into the Kentucky Derby undefeated, heads this field. If he can reproduce that form. Now, in the Kentucky Derby, obviously, he did not perform to the standard we're used to seeing from him. So we shall see which gemologist shows up. They say he's working great, but everybody says every horse is working great going into a race, so we'll see. Gemologist, Painter, who ran a terrific race in defeat in the Belmont. He returns in the Haskell, at this point, as does Dullahan, who has 2 Grade 1 stakes to his record on the polytrack. We'll see how he does in the Haskell. He did not perform particularly well in the Belmont Stakes, although he did run a very credible race in the Kentucky Derby, finishing third. So we'll see. The beginning of the 3-year-old second part of the season this weekend, the Haskell and the Jim Dandy. Sadly, Hansen skips both races because lots of options open for these 3-year-olds, which is a bit of a shame. You'd like to see them all be together and competing against each other, but Hansen skips those. I think maybe goes to the West Virginia Derby the following weekend. A couple of updates on other stars that we haven't heard from a little while. Shackelford, the Shack, is scheduled to return September 1st in the Farrago Grade 1, so looking forward to seeing that, but he is still around, but that's what we're waiting for. Over in Europe, Frankel may be reappearing quite soon, hopefully, cross fingers, beginning of August at Goodwood. So lots to look forward to, lots going on, and that's it for this edition of Alex Brown Racing's At the Races.